that in mind, today's webinar explores innovative approaches to teaching and learning through brain-based methodologies and evidence-based pedagogy. As a business education continues to evolve, particularly in the context of AI-driven change, this session will offer practical insights on how we can move from traditional teaching-centric models towards more effective, learning-centric approaches with examples drawn from curriculum innovation and classroom practice. With that, I'm excited and pleased to introduce our speaker today. That is Professor Prabhat Pankaj, who I will be inviting to join us here on the stage just momentarily. Professor Prabhat is Director of Academics of the Jaipur Group of B schools located in Lucknow, Noida, and Jaipur, and he also leads the Center of Learning and Teaching Advancement. With over 3 decades of experience in higher education, he's played a pivotal role in advancing student learning, pedagogy, and outcome-based education. He has led significant institutional transformation, including contributing to Jaipur's achievement of a single AACSB accreditation across 4 business schools. His work also extends to areas such as neuro-based learning and happiness in education, informed by his engagement with Bhutan's gross national happiness movement. Professor Prabhat is an accomplished author and thought leader with multiple books and research publications and continues to contribute actively to public discourse on education and well-being. So with that, I'm so excited to welcome Professor Prabhat. So thank you for being with us today, and I will now hand it over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, and it's a great opportunity for me to be speaking to AACSB community and fellow professors from various places. This topic is slightly unique, so be prepared for some surprises because it's going to contradict some of the notions that we carry about teaching learning. It will also support some of the notions that we carry about teaching learning. So here we go. Because of the time paucity, I cannot wait anymore. So the first slide talks about, do you agree or do you disagree? So there are 5 propositions I'm putting forward here. Generally, the first proposition, like some learners are right brain learners, some learners are left brain learners. This is a widely acceptable feature of teaching learning. The professors will say, oh, some students are good in mathematics, some students are not good in mathematics, they are good in creativity. But what does the brain science says? On the first proposition, right brain or left brain learner, the brain science is very clear. It says that nothing called right brain or the left brain. The brain is always holistic. So you have to look at the brain in totality. So the entire region of the brain is engaged when you talk about teaching learning, especially the process of learning. So in a way, they reject the first proposition. Coming back to the second one, a student learn better when instructor matches the learning style of the. So we do talk about learning style, and it's a very prominent discourse in teaching learning. Brain science says that learning style is also not that important. What is important is the conditions that you provide to the brain for learning. So it is about the conditions of learning. It's not about the style of learning. So in a way, they also reject the second proposition. When we come to this third one, offering students the opportunity to struggle with a problem leads to better learning. And this is where the brain science actually says that this is perfectly okay. And this is true about learning. So unless the brain actually struggles to learn something new, it will not learn better. So I'll explain upon this idea and how this can be translated into the teaching process, how you can actually align it with the pedagogy. The fourth proposition says that students remember everything. They simply cannot retrieve some information at certain time. Now, brain science is also very clear that you have memory, but memories are like long-term memory and the short-term memory, which is a working memory. Now, things go into the working memory, but what is the chance and what is the way to make this learning goes into the long run? Because if it is in the long-term memory, then the recall value actually increases. And learning in a way is defined with the concept of recall value. If there is no recall of learning after a month or after 2 months or after 3 months, if the students forget everything that you have taught in the classroom today after 1 month, then this means that the learning has not taken place. The brain science is very clear. It says that you have to focus on recall value. And when it comes to the recall value, it is the long-term memory that works better, not the short-term memory. And that's why student may remember everything, but they cannot retrieve information at a certain point of time if it doesn't go into the long-term memory. So I'll also talk about that part. And the fifth proposition is praising student efforts lead to better gains. Partially correct, because when you praise somebody, motivate somebody, motivation is very important as far as brain science is concerned. Its impact on the learning is very huge. So let me move forward a little bit and talk about uh, few more things. So effective teaching, when we say effective teaching, teaching and effective teaching are two different things. When we say effective teaching, it means that the teaching is actually getting translated into the learning of the student. And it is more about how the brain actually learns, because you may create a perception of learning that the students may have learned because they thought that they have learned, but they may not actually have learned. So that's the difference that we need to observe and understand. Let me go to the next slide. Yeah, I mean, all my life, of course, no one has ever told me that not to put glue in my hair, but yet somehow I knew that it's not correct. This actually means that there are some inbuilt innate capability in the students to learn, and I'll give you an example of that. Here is an example. This is very interesting project that was done. It's called the Hole in the Wall Education Project. And in India, it's called this project is called Khulja Sim Sim. So this picture is from the Delhi slum area, where Mr. Sugata Mitra, he is the educationist, and he's now very famous because he has done this experiment all across the world. So this is a very famous experiment, and he has done a lot of TED Talk. There's a link I have provided, you can see his talk. What he did was that under the UNDP project, he put the computer in the wall. So he created a hole in the wall and put computers. You can see the photograph. And then he put some camera around and just few protections that the computers are safe. And then what he witnessed after a couple of months is that the entire lot of children from the slum area, they learned how to operate computer. They not to the other fellow children. So what he propounded to us is two things about education. He said that students can learn without a teacher is just the conditions that to be made by the teacher. And second, he said that the education or learning is about the fact that it evolves from within. It is not something that you give to somebody or you give to somebody. So, I mean, if you want to teach somebody, that may be a difficult and not a very good proposition. But if you want to make somebody learn, it will be a good proposition. And the moment you change your paradigm from, let's say, teaching somebody to making somebody learn, then you follow Sugata. And Sugata is rightly correct in that sense when he says that learning actually evolves from within. So you have to give those conditions to the students where they actually get into the mode of learning. So definitely this is not how it's going to work the way we have been doing in the education system. So let me move to the first proposition, which the brain science talks about. It says that the learning begins with motivation and curiosity. If there is no curiosity, there is no motivation. If there is no activation of the brain, learning will not happen. So therefore, first lesson about the pedagogy from the professor's side is that before you jump onto the teaching, you must create some motivation. You must talk to the students of your class, create some curiosity through questions. So that is the takeaway, the first